Hello everyone, Lytro Storm here, and today we are back with part 5 of What If Javier was in Season 1. No recap as usual, so if you want to know what has happened so far, please be sure to watch parts 1 through 4, which will be linked in both the description and the comments section. Anyway, if you end up enjoying this video, please like and subscribe as it really helps me out, and support on the Walking Dead videos that don't do so well is always greatly appreciated. Plus, it's a goal for me to try to hit 6,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so if you want to help and, help me get that, please do subscribe. As always, be sure to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter. Links in the description. Alright, so where we left off, Carver and his men were about to storm the cabin, so now they're gonna do that. This would be while all the kids are playing in Sarah's room and, talking to each other. They would all begin to hide as Carver and his group begin rounding everyone up. Even with far superior numbers, they aren't a match for the weaponry Carver has. He then sends Troy upstairs to get Sarah and the kids, and that's when Gabe realizes what he has to do. He takes out the small revolver that we see him use in A New Frontier, and stands at the door. Clementine can choose whether to convince him to hide or hide by herself. If Clementine hides by herself, Troy would knock Gabe onto the ground. You could then try to pick up the gun or stay hidden. If you pick it up, you shoot, but he moves out of the way before you fire. He would then body Clem and force everyone out of the room. If you stay hidden, then he picks it up and aims it at Gabe, threatening to kill him if nobody comes out. Clem, Duck, Mariana, and Sarah all do though. And going back to the initial choice, if you convince Gabe to hide, he does. This leads into a scene of Troy searching for everyone, where he finds Gabe first and almost gets shot. He grabs him and you can choose to try to help him or try to escape. If you help him, you'll just get bodied and everyone will come out. If you try to escape, you will jump out the window and die. So, game over. So that's a bunch of different choices that lead to the same outcome, so let's now continue from that outcome. All the kids get taken downstairs and are told what is going to happen. They're going to take them all back to Carver's camp. He asks what Carlos has to say, and he just simply spits in his face. Of course, this leads into him getting beaten down, and everyone begins panicking. Javi would quietly ask Clem if she can cut his binds, to which she can, and she does so, leading to him cutting out Luke's. After beating down Carlos easily, Carver would ask if anyone else had objections, to which Chuck would stand up. Carver would ask what the old man had to say, and he would say that he wouldn't go. Carver would tell him that the only other choice was death, but Chuck cut him off, saying that he knows. Carver would say alright, and as he started, Chuck would pull out his revolver and shoot one of his men before being gunned down right after. Carver, looking at the man's dead body, would then use that as a premise for a speech about how some people just don't understand the value of life. Meanwhile, Luke would be cutting Kenny's binds. Carver would say that it was time to go and turn around, but that's when Luke would attempt to run. He would be seen and almost shot, but Javi was able to grab the gun and stop them. He struggled against Troy until Carver punched Javi in the face. Kenny would then rush Carver and chaos would begin to ensue. Everyone would be running around, but eventually the whole group would be rounded up, with no one knowing where Luke went. Carver would then roll everyone into the trucks, and they would be taken to house. This would mean that the group doesn't meet Sarita, Walter, or Matthew, which may be better, as all three of them die after meeting our group. And that would then end episode 2. So now that we're on to our third episode, our group is in Carver's truck. Everyone would be talking about Chuck's death, why Luke ran, and what they were going to do. Although Kenny wouldn't be as enraged as he was, since he is somewhat of a coward here. He's developed a little bit, but not nearly as much as he did after losing his family. They would make it out and be forced into house, where they would meet Reggie, and Alvin would go to Carver's office. Clem now gets the opportunity to run around and talk to everyone. You'd be able to talk to Ben about Nick, and also Reggie's arm, where Ben would say that he's glad he wasn't there for it, as he probably would have fainted from seeing the blood. You could talk to Katja about how she doesn't like being prisoner again, like with the St. John's. Talk to Javi and Kate about if Javi's alright by getting punched by Carver and how Kate is doing. You'd find Krista talking with Rebecca about having a kid and stuff like that. You get the idea. Overall, just more characters to do even more with. In the morning, Carlos would be told to slap Sarah for talking, and all the moms there would actually step in and try to tell him that he doesn't need to do that. Carver would ignore them, and Carlos would end up doing it anyway, because, he doesn't want anyone to die. Carver would then look at Krista along with her baby, and tell her to give it to him. She is shocked, but he repeats himself, saying that she can't work if she has to hold it. Omid would tell Carver to calm down and that he'll work extra in her place, but Carver does not give up. He says no, everyone needs to pull their own weight, and so he then forces it out of Krista's hands. She wants to fight back, but any more commotion could end up dropping the baby. He then walks out with it in his arms, and everyone would go back to their workstations. This part of the game would go the same until Clementine has to help Sarah. This is because Mariana, Gabe, and Duck would also be there. So now the 5 of them work, and you can choose whether you help Sarah or not. But if you don't, the others can cover instead. Since there's 5 of them, even if Sarah barely does anything, it's still a lot more than just Clem and Sarah. This would lead into Reggie surviving, and Carver would actually compliment him and all the kids. After that, Carver goes to bring nails to the boys, but Kenny wouldn't ever attack Mike. This is because other people would be there. And also, like I said, he isn't as sporadic as he is in canon. I think that's what sporadic means. The walkers would bust in, but once again, because there's more people, they would solve it easier. Clementine would not meet Luke though, because the trip from the cabin to house is far longer than when they came from the lodge in canon. This would mean that Luke wouldn't be able to keep up, and thusly would take longer to show up. Clem would talk to Carver, and that would go about the same. However, what wouldn't be the same is what happens next. Luke never shows up, so the walkie-talkie plan never happens, which means Kenny's plan of using the PA system and walking through the walkers would take center stage. They would never steal the walkie-talkies, and because of this, Kenny would never lose his eye. Let's go, Kenny! That was probably cringe, but yeah, I don't care, bro. Kenny's fire. Because Luke didn't show up, Clementine doesn't have a reason to run off. This would mean that she would just continue working until Carver would reveal that he found Luke. At night, Clem would sneak into Carver's office and blast the volume. Alvin would then make his last stand as she escapes, leaving him to die. Clementine then returns to find Carver scolding everyone and holding Krista's baby. And that is where we'll end part 5. Yes, I know, a cliffhanger, but I have to leave the suspense there. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the what if so far, and make sure to like and subscribe if you are. Like I said before, extra support on Walking Dead videos is always appreciated. But as always, tell me if you liked this part, tell me what you think will happen next, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.